You know that specific kind of quiet. The one you felt coming home to an empty house at 3:30 p.m., turning a key in the lock, and knowing absolutely no one knew where you were. If you grew up in the 1980s, that silence wasn't just boredom. It was training. And if you feel exhausted by the constant noise of today, you aren't just getting old. You are experiencing a hardware mismatch. If you're someone who constantly feels the need to handle everything yourself, refusing help even when you're overwhelmed, welcome. You're about to feel very seen. Today, we're looking at the lasting impact of an analog childhood. We often call this generation resilient or tough, but psychology calls it something else entirely. We're going to explore how your analog nervous system is trying to exist in a digital world, and why your independence might actually be a long-term survival habit your body learned when you were young. Here's the thing, growing up back then meant your safety often depended on your ability to figure it out alone. There were no cell phones to track you, no apps to check in on you. If you got hurt, if you got lost, or if you were just lonely, you had to handle it yourself. Your body learned a very specific lesson. No one is coming, I have to do this. In psychology, we call this hyperindependence. It looks like you have it all together. It looks like being the strong one, but it's actually a survival habit. Your nervous system wired itself to believe that relying on others is unsure, or at least unreliable. You learn to process your stress in solitude. But here is where the friction starts. You took that analog nervous system, wired for long stretches of quiet and freedom, and dropped it into a digital world that demands you be available 24/7. For you, a ringing phone or a constant stream of texts doesn't just feel annoying. It feels like a threat. It feels like a violation of the quiet you used to use to survive. You might think you're just bad at communication or becoming antisocial. But let's be honest, you aren't broken, you are overwhelmed. Your brain was built to process information slowly, not at the speed of a scrolling feed. When you ghost your friends or leave your phone in the other room, that's not rude. That is your body desperately trying to return to the baseline safety of 1985. Now, some people stay in this hyper-independent mode for a darker reason. It protects you from the vulnerability of being known. If you never need anyone, you can never be let down. It's important to know. This survival habit was functional when you were 10. It kept you safe. But today, it might be keeping you lonely. The exhaustion you feel isn't just about work or family. It's the sheer effort of maintaining a fortress that no one asked you to build. So, if you find yourself retreating, turning off the notifications, and craving that old silence, give yourself some grace. You're not antisocial. You're just wired for depth over noise. You're wired for a world that moved a little slower. Tell me, do you feel this friction between your analog childhood and your digital life, or do you think we're just nostalgic? If you found this resonated, subscribe and explore more with us.